end of season ಅದು ನೋಡ್ಕೊಂಡು
Here's how I make this coming digital art.
पहले तो ये देखना है कि आवाज़ ठीक से आ रही है कि
Now it's blender time.
खर खर की आवाज़ थोड़ी आ रही है आवाज़ ठीक से तो आ रही है हाँ अब नहीं आ रही खर खर की आवाज़ क्या करना है
Why can't we leave the city? What is the academia up to now?
Don't ask me. It's not like I can tell you anything. This is a direct order from the Grand Sage. Just wait until tomorrow.
I have a real emergency. My goods have already arrived at Port Ormos. If I don't hurry, they'll be stolen.
That's your problem. Make sure you make a request in advance next time.
But it's not like you can just predict business matters in advance.
It looks like the Academia already announced the lockdown for Sumeru City today. How completely unsurprising. Let's go and question. Hello, sir. Why can't we leave the city today?
Here we go again. Don't ask me. I don't know either. We just received an order that no one is allowed to enter or exit Sumeru today. They didn't tell us anything else. Angering me won't get you anywhere. If I had that kind of insider info, I would have left this stupid post long ago.
It looks like he really doesn't know. If we can't get anything out of him, let's take matters into our own hands. Why don't we climb over the walls? Those guards can't be everywhere at once. This is a good spot, and the guard hasn't noticed us at all. Let's hurry! Huh? Why? Are you going to leave Paimon behind? But what if things get really weird out there and you get into some trouble? Then Paimon won't be able to help you.
हेल्प करती का है
Paimon knows that Paimon can't do much, but we've always been together. Okay. Paimon will wait for you. Promise Paimon that you'll come back as soon as possible. Just a quick look. And please, be careful. Memories! Traveler! Paimon would never see you again. You just disappeared. Paimon waited for you for hours and hours at the city wall and you never came back. You promised Paimon that you were only taking a quick look. Paimon, calm down. He's here now. I don't think he understood what you were saying. Paimon doesn't care. Paimon wanted to go look for you, but you also said that Paimon should stay. Paimon was so worried and so scared the entire day. Okay. Paimon will forgive you. The most important thing is that you didn't actually disappear. Oh, Paimon was so scared that you had gone into another world. Okay, Paimon, can you tell us your perspective of what really happened yesterday?
Hello.
I see. Using two people's different perspectives. After that, you left the city. Paimon kept her eyes on you the whole time, but then you disappeared in an instant. No way! Paimon was watching you with the fullest attention. What's your perspective, Traveler? You sure you don't have any memory of this? I guess that explains everything. You also lost your memories the last 2 times you tried to leave the city. Those days' memories can't be awoken. So, if we leave the city, our memories will be completely erased? It really sounds like something big outside of the city is being hidden on purpose. But this way, we'll also never discover what's outside. Something like a message? But how can we send it back? Don't look at me like that. I'm not used to being stared at. Well... Okay. You want something that can pass... Yep! Now we're talking! I'm done. Here you go. What? Isn't this just an Akasha terminal? I made some little changes. Akasha terminals are already capable of sending messages. I just tweaked it so that it could connect to any node. To make something like this? Nahida, you really know the Akasha like the back of your hand. Anyway, we can use this now to record a message. Yep. I'll help you save the messages. It should be pretty easy to use. I just can't guarantee the user's status and signal coverage when they're outside the city. We'll never know until we try. At least we're taking the initiative now. Let's go then. Let's expose those sages. All right. Paimon isn't as worried about being separated since it happened once. Okay. See you tomorrow, Traveler. That covers everything that's happened so far. Yes, although the signal was choppy and had some interference, we still managed to receive 2 messages from you when you were outside. Okay, now that you understand what's going on, let's hear the messages together.
Can't go back. There are countless spaces here. Our Sub-Zeru's festival in Sumeru City is just one of them. I've entered another space. Before me are flowing sandstone and howling fish. Impossible and surreal sights. All these spaces are empty except for the occasional ones that contain mute puppets rather than people. I can't sense any human presence.
That's one heck of an info dump. It sounds like you left the Sumeru city space when you set foot outside of the walls. But everything looked completely normal when Paimon was looking out from the inside. That's unbelievable. And if we take your word for it, the other spaces all had very weird contents. There's another part here. We only received it last night.
These spaces have been disappearing one after the other, absorbed by something like a sun in the sky. And now, even the final space has also disappeared. Behind me, a lot of spaces just appeared again from thin air. I get it now! Those spaces are actually...
Why did the message end right there? What did the Traveler want to say? probably because yesterday just happened to end at that moment. Oh, right. Paimon did hear a beep from the Akasha. Did it come from here or from the message? The message. It should have come from the Traveler's Akasha terminal. After the beep, Traveler said even the final space has also disappeared. Traveler, what do you think that final space could have been?
My impression is that each day in this samsara only ends at the sound of that beep from the Akasha. All the bizarre spaces I saw outside the city had one thing in common: a lack of human presence. That doesn't sound right. I need to carefully think. Was that space actually the real world? But wouldn't a real space just randomly disappearing like that be catastrophic? That doesn't sound right.
Oh, so that's what it is! After the sound of the beep, the final space, the Sub-Zero's festival, also disappears, and we're taken to the next day. Later on, Traveler also mentioned a bunch of new spaces materializing behind them. Do lots of new spaces appear every day? Paimon's head is spinning. Just what are these spaces anyhow? Well, consider this. For all the horrors of the Archon War, at its heart, it was just a game where a bunch of gods fought over 7 seats. So no matter how strange or spooky things may look on the surface, maybe all they point to in the end is a small and simple secret. Wow, the Archon War, huh? That's an analogy and a half. Hey, where are you going?
Hello, 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 hello.
Do you want some alone time to think? All right then, Paimon won't disturb you.
The dance of Sub-Zeros is about to begin. I'm going to go watch it.
Okay. Why don't you go ahead, Dunyarzad? We still have some other stuff to do first.
Okay then. See you later.
Figured it out yet, Traveler? Time is ticking away. Awesome! What is it? Paimon wants to know. Oh, wait, no. Let's meet up with Nahida first. You can tell us both together. Then... You're back! I've been waiting forever for you two. Judging by the looks on your faces, are you ready to take your Sub-Zero's exam and graduate from the festival? Okay, first off, have you discovered the hidden truth?
All the bizarre spaces I saw outside the city had one thing in common: a lack of human presence. The moon, illusions, and lies. What did they all mean? People in Sumeru don't dream. What a strange phenomenon. We are all in a dream. It isn't that the people of Sumeru don't dream. Rather, the Akasha is taking their dreams from them.
People in Sumeru think they don't dream, but the truth is the Akasha steals their dreams without them knowing it. And those spaces with no human presence are stolen dreams without their host. That would explain why they sounded so weird when he was trying to describe them. Huh. So people in Sumeru do dream after all. In fact, we're all in one big dream together right now.
Correct answer. Now, how did you conclude that the Akasha is capable of this? And it grants knowledge to the people. It compiles the wisdom of the entire populace. It is the manifestation of the God of Wisdom's power. The Akasha relies on the power of a gnosis to operate.
That doesn't sound right. I need to carefully think things through. That doesn't sound right.
Oh, okay. Those dream-controlling creatures in the forest also get their power from the Dendro Archon, right? That would explain why the Akasha has the ability to control people's dreams, too. But is stealing everyone's dreams really how the Akasha compiles their wisdom? Isn't there anything more to it than that?
Dreams are fantastical, complex, and full of imagination. People's brains are the most active when they're dreaming. In other words, dreams are rich bundles of human wisdom.
So in other words, the complete opposite of how Hypatia Hama remembers her saying that the sages think dreams are foolish delusions, and the fact that no one dreams is a blessing from Greater Lord Rukkhadevata. The real story is that the sages from the academia are using the Akasha to steal people's dreams for their own use, huh?
Oh? By the sounds of it, you understand the current situation pretty well. So then, what about the samsara?
We've already experienced the Sub-Zerus festival many times. The day of the festival... That doesn't sound right. Those spaces kept disappearing before my eyes. But as soon as that beeps, those dreamscapes kept vanishing.
Correct. The Akasha is keeping each person's brain in a constant dream state, but also separating their consciousness from their own dream. Their disembodied consciousness is placed inside the collective dream of the Sub-Zerus festival along with everyone else's, while their now vacant dreams are harvested by the Akasha. No one is any the wiser as another day passes in the dream, and so begins another samsara cycle. People wake up to yet another dream about the Sub-Zerus festival. The dreams that...
So, this is like a dream factory, and the Akasha is a dream?
Very good, Paimon. Using analogies well is an excellent...
Okay, so that beep we keep hearing is actually from our real-life Akasha term.
Alright, last question.
They say that alchemical divination is the Dendro Archon's divine revelation. So then, if Nahida has referred to herself as the moon...
So you noticed. I thought that one would be the hardest question. That's That's why I put it last.
That wasn't hard at all. Even Paimon guessed that. Everything about you is different. We just didn't want to expose you is all. Now that you mention it, Nahida, you've been hinting to us since the very beginning. It's funny. Thinking back to when we were asking all over the place for info about Lesser Lord Kusanali, Paimon didn't expect to meet you like this.
Yes, those can wait until we're back in real life. On the other hand, I'd be happy to answer any more questions you have about here and now. You asked me this question before. My answer was, it would literally blow your minds. Now that you know this is all a dream, this answer should hopefully make more sense. Have you heard the saying, don't wake a sleepwalker? Likewise, if someone suddenly had told you all this instead of you learning it on your own, your notion of reality and dream would be thrown into irreversible confusion. I couldn't expose you to that kind of risk. That's why I could only give you very subtle hints and some suggestions. Long story short, I'm really sorry I had to keep you guessing. Firstly, this dream we're in is completely based on reality. People have already experienced this Sub-Zero's festival, so it would be very difficult for them to find anything that strikes them as surreal. Secondly, you're probably wondering why people don't have any memories from earlier samsara, right? That's because people don't remember their dreams most of the time anyway. And in any case, their actual dreams are being taken away from them by the Akasha. So whenever they wake up in this dream of the Sub-Zero's festival, they don't remember anything from their previous identical dream.
That reminds Paimon. Traveler had a dream when we were in the Avidia forest, but couldn't see what it was about after waking up. Is that an example of what you mean?
Yes. Only after receiving the blessing of Dendro can a person gain the Dendro element's dream-enhancing power. That explains the feelings of deja vu. Meanwhile, everyone else has no idea that they are in the Sub-Zero's festival samsara, while their dreams are stolen from them over and over again.
Can humans really keep dreaming forever like this? Will it ever end? And if so, when?
We might say your mental fatigue has already answered this question. Eventually, there's only so much that people can tolerate. Especially those whose health is compromised to begin with, like Dunyarzad. This relentless exploitation takes an even harder toll on them.
People's lives are at stake here, and nobody knows a thing! We've got to put a stop to this!
I know, right? Why did they have to base this dream on my birthday? Could it really just be a coincidence?
Even you don't know the reason? Wow, now that's strange.
The Academia sages are determined to harvest lots of dreams in a short time, no matter the cost. They have to be up to no good. Unfortunately, I don't know anything about it. Traveler, do you have any information?
The Grand Sage said, "Go celebrate the birth of that god to your heart's content." Did he...
Celebrate the birth of that god? Could it mean... deceiving the people of Sumeru with no regard for their safety? No matter what they're trying to do, this is unforgivable. After we end the Sub-Zero's festival samsara, we have to look into them.
How can the sages of the Academia do this behind their Archon's back? This is ridiculous!
In the end, I'm just the moon. The real sun is long gone.
A sun and a moon? Nahida's talking in riddles again. Oh, we're out of time today.
I'll tell you how to break free of the samsara tomorrow. See you then.
covers everything. Should we instead say good morning, Lesser Lord Kusanali? Hey, what's wrong, Nahida? You don't look too good.
I'm afraid that what you're thinking right now is correct.
Did Dunyarzad already disappear? No way. Are we too late?
The real Dunyarzad's consciousness has indeed disappeared. It can no longer endure the constant dream harvesting.
Paimon can't believe it. Wait, so what about that other Dunyarzad? Just what is she? Is she also going to disappear?
She's actually something like a
Huh?
puppet, but not completely. The real Dunyarzad's consciousness could no longer keep playing her role in this dream. So another
Oh.
Dunyarzad appeared to replace her in the dream. Just like the grass and the trees, that Dunyarzad is just a building block of the dream that helps to keep it going.
But personality-wise, she's nothing like the real Dunyarzad.
Puppets are stiff and can't copy a living person's vitality. After all, they're just there as filler. You know, speaking of which, the old Dunyarzad might not have been too different from a puppet.
Dunyarzad truly believed that she met you within her consciousness, and it was you who inspired her. So you do remember her after all.
Yes. Back then, her family was overly protective of her. No one cared about her personality or thoughts. It was as if she only lived to stall her Elazar. I just gave her a little wisdom so she could look at life in a new way. So that she could be her own person. But even so, she's still... far from it. I'm still a long way off from being a real Archon.
यार मेरे को तो पता ही नहीं चल रहा है कुछ.
If I were a competent Archon, I wouldn't have let my most faithful follower die at the Sub-Zerus festival with so many regrets.
Please don't beat yourself up over it, Nahida. It's the sage's fault, and theirs alone.
फ्रिज में तो रखा है ना.
Myself up. All I did was to rationally observe the distance between myself and a real Archon.
Don't be like that, Nahida. Even real Archons are still allowed to be sad.
To prevent more tragedies like this, we must end the samsara as soon as possible.
Great, but how do we do that?
Although the Sub-Zerus festival dream is under the Akasha's control, only humans can dream. Even the Akasha is unable to create them. That means this dream belongs to a host who created it.
Huh? So, how should we find that person?
Well, if this is someone's dream, then everything here must come from deep within their consciousness. Which means, with the power of imagination, they can change anything in this dream.
Imagination? What do you mean by that?
Imagination means breaking through what you perceive as normal. Like when a server at a tavern brings a plate to you, you'd naturally assume that food is on it. However, if you're the dream's host and you become aware that you're dreaming, when you imagine gold and more on the plate, the dream will respond in kind, and the server really will bring you gold and mora. But right now, our host is unaware that this is a dream. No matter how many times they're served, it will always be food. Find some way to make that person realize that they're dreaming. Usually, once that happens, the person will wake up and the dream samsara will be broken.
How are we going to find them, though? If it could be anyone, it'd be like looking for a needle in a haystack. And even if we did find them, how are we supposed to make them realize they're dreaming? After all, like you said, don't wake a sleepwalker.
It's extremely difficult, yes. But the only ones who can do it are you two. Remember, Everything you've achieved up to this point has all been for the sake of finding the host and ending the samsara. As for me, during this time, I'll be out of town.
Out of town? Are you going to that place full of dreams where the traveler went?
Yes, I want to try something.
नहीं है अपने इधर
Must
उतना नहीं
still be
है.
a small whisper possibility. Hurry and go.
हाँ वो बृहस्पति
Dreams are
बाजार से
supposed to
जाओगे
be
वो अपना
fantastical, romantic, and full of pleasant surprises.
वही जहाँ पुल के बाद वाला चौक है तो उधर मिलेगा.
Need to end.
आप तो इधर जाओगे ना, उधर नहीं मिलेगा.
Paimon's still a little upset that we've come this far only for Dunyarzad to... She was such a good person, with such a simple wish. But fate was against her. Yeah. Saving Dunyarzad is what kept us going this whole time. But we mustn't lose hope, Traveler. Dunyarzad will definitely want to see us save everyone else. She needs to break the samsara for her sake. Paimon's wondering, do you think the sages would get one of their own to be the host of this stream? Feels like it would be easier to control it that way, no?
कपड़ा.
Huh. That's true. Plus, the sages probably weren't counting on there being other factors beyond their control, like Nahida and us. So, who do you
और
think
बच्ची
the
आपके
host
लिए
of the
निकालना है
dream
क्या?
is? Oh, that would make sense. Ferris, the Knight of Flowers, is a symbol of the whole Sub-Zero's festival, right? Pretty core character. Let's go ask him some questions, shall we?
Entering standby mode. I hope nobody disturbs me.
As usual कोई नहीं आया. Talk to Farid, the Knight of Flower.
You're back. You left in a hurry last time. Is everything okay?
Everything's fine. Just, it's a little hard to explain. Would you mind taking part in a little experiment with us?
An experiment? That came out of nowhere. I'm listening, though. What do you need me to do?
Could you make a wish?
You want me to make a wish? Is that a new Sub-Zero's festival tradition or something?
Less questions, more wishing!
Okay. My wish. Okay. I'm a little nervous saying this out loud, but I want Miss Dunyarzad to be happy.
Oh.
I noticed earlier that she looked a bit down, and she wasn't really talking to anyone. She just doesn't seem like herself. She's always so gentle. I've also wondered if the reason she asked me to be Fairest Knight of Flowers is because I'm special.
So, you have a crush on...
When she placed the hat of the Knight of Flowers onto my head, what she didn't realize was that I'm not that interested in how everyone else feels. In that moment, I just wanted to be her Knight of Flowers for the rest of my life. Okay, yeah, that was a bit much. Felt like the right moment to get it off my chest. Okay, I'm ready to make my wish. I would like Miss Dunyarzad to appear in front of me right now with a smile on her face. Here goes.
Please come true.
I'm gonna open my eyes. Oh, you're...
What?
Fucky? Sorry, but only one portion of Yelda candies per person. Back home you go. Nice try, you two. Anyway, never mind. I don't need to see her appear right in front of me. As long as she's happy.
Guess he isn't the host of this stream after all. She expected it wouldn't be
वो तो रखा है
this
उसके
easy.
ऊपर डालूंगा ना अभी खत्म हो गया करके वो बस आ रहा है अभी पानी भरूंगा तो फिर हो जाएगा
It seems like everyone who knows Dunyarzad loves her, but none of them has any idea that she...
My lady, step back.
That sounds like Dia! Oh, right. This is when Dunyarzad bumps into the kidnappers. Huh? But Dia can handle them. Hey, Traveler!
Oh, it's you. Great timing. Please take... Hey, this is my job. The homie Yannis pay me, not you. You... Ugh, fine, alright. Knock yourself out. Why are you so worked up anyway? It's not like I don't trust your fighting skills. Anyway, watch yourself.
So you got yourself some backup. Suit yourself. You're going down.
A new punching.
Over here!
Yeah.
Nice and spicy!
Where do you think you're...
Wow. Fast.
Try to keep up.
Out of the frying pan, into the fire! Chip on up!
Rise. I didn't feel that.
Surprise! Nice and spicy!
You want this one?
That's close
Chip
enough.
on up!
Disappear!
Take that!
Robot, get them! Traveler, were you just taking your anger out on those guys? You and Nahida both. Dunyarzad wouldn't want to see you two like this. Oh, and speaking of her, Paimon just remembered something. Remember how during the first Sub-Zero's festival, before the Samsara started, we came here with Dunyarzad because she wanted to pick something up? She said it was because she had forgotten something. Okay, so Paimon's memory is working so far. Anyway, Paimon also remembers that she is staying somewhere around here. She pointed it out to us the night before the Sub-Zero's festival. Yeah, even if it's only a tiny clue, it'll This is the place! It's rude to enter other people's spaces without permission, but desperate times call for desperate measures! Hey, the windows are unlocked! Okay, Paimon's gonna take a peek in. This was only a temporary residence, so there was pretty much nothing inside except this book on the table. Should we open it? Wow. Dunyarzad wrote all of this, even though she was also busy preparing for the Sub-Zero's She must have wanted to give this to us as a gift. If we hadn't found this book, we never would have known. But now that we know, we can't even thank her. Hey! Where are you off to now? It's Dunyarzad's puppet. Traveler? You must be exhausted. Come to think of it, we've been stuck in this place for a really, really long time. Heck, even the last time we were chatting happily with Dunyarzad feels like an eternity ago. Paimon still remembers when we were sitting here, and the way her eyes sparkled when she talked about Nilou's Dance of Sub-Zeros.
There will always be frustrations in life, but I know that the point of living is not to leave behind any regrets.
That was what the real Dunyarzad said, wasn't it? Does that mean...
Yes, Traveler. What is it?
Oh, so she's still just a puppet. But just now, how come... What? Where are we going this time?
If you continue to resist, we will have to order an investigation into every single event organizer. The Grand Sage has already granted you much leniency.
How?
Traveler? You don't have to get involved.
Traveler.
Traveler? What the heck are you doing? If you get arrested by the Academia, that's another day gone to waste. Wait, they're not reacting. Have they been scared stiff? Oh, of course. If this is the Sage's plan, they wouldn't put themselves through this. So they're just substitutes.
What is this? What happened to the Grand Sage and his entourage? Like I said, they symbolize the goddess of flowers. It's just a shame that all the real Padisaras went extinct after her death.
Yes. The Greater Lord brought forth new Padisaras in memory of the goddess of flowers. But she ultimately could never truly replicate that beautiful shade of purple.
That beautiful shade of purple. Aren't these flowers real Padisaras? Just like the ones from the legend?
But didn't you just say all the real flowers went extinct after the goddess of flowers passed away? So, how?
Yeah. What's going on? Huh? You guys are acting weird.
They disappeared! So Nilu's the host! What a surprise! Purple body Saras don't exist in the real world anymore. But in Nilu's subconscious, they can appear as decorations on the stage. It's just like the example Nahida told us. People assume there will be food on a plate, and Nilu assumed there would be real Padisaras in the flower pot. So when you saw the flowers, you instantly knew it was Nilu? But if we want to end the samsara, we need the host to become aware that they're dreaming. How should we make Nilu realize that?
Am I dreaming?
Huh?
बंद कर दो ना तो टीवी पंखा सब बंद कर दो उधर। हाँ वो पानी नहीं है ना उसमें एक भी। आओ सब बंद कर दो
So
उधर।
I'm right. Is this Lesser Lord Kusanali responding to our celebration of the Sub-Zerus festival?
Wrong guess, but you aren't completely wrong either.
क्या पता।
The point is, what made you think this is a dream? As far as you know, people in Sumeru don't dream, right?
Yeah, but have you heard the tale of the first sage? To prevent a calamity, he went on a journey to find the Dendro Archon.
Ooh, sounds familiar. Dinyarzad told us a story like that when we first arrived in Sumeru City. So it was about the first sage, huh?
Yep, but in the part you heard, he hadn't become the first sage yet. There's more to the story. His piety and wisdom were acknowledged by the Dendro Archon, and she finally gave her blessing to him. All kinds of spectacular scenes appeared in front of the first sage, as if all the knowledge in the world was being painted onto a canvas right before him. He was captivated. After who knows how long, he mastered all the knowledge he could comprehend. Afterward, he said to the Dendro Archon, "I miss my parents, my wife, and my children. I've been away from home for far too long. They must be worried." The Dendro Archon smiled. The next second, the sage found himself lying in his bed, as if he had just woken up from a dream. His wife, lying next to him, said, "You're off to search for the Dendro Archon today, aren't you? Have a safe journey, my love." In the end, the first sage took care of many disasters in Sumeru City, and founded the Academia. What a happy ending.
So, the first sage was dreaming ever since the beginning of the story? He never went on his journey?
Yes, but his faith and determination were conveyed to the Dendro Archon, so she blessed him in the form of a dream.
Paimon understands where you're coming from now. That's a really interesting connection. But we really gotta wake up soon, like the sage in the story.
I see. Well, it just so happens that today's Sub-Zerus festival is almost over too. Since we're in a dream, let's make this final dance of Sub-Zerus as beautiful as we can. The wait is over, everyone. I dedicate this to our god, the dance of Sub-Zerus. I'd be lying if I said I had no regrets. I would have loved to see Nilou's dance.
Good morning, traveler. Oh, Paimon feels like she's been asleep for the... Paimon's head feels super heavy. Paimon thinks it was after the Sub-Zero's festival. Have we finally escaped from the Sub-Zero Samsara? Quick, take off your Akasha terminal. She's not in her room. What happened? Huh? What usual spot?
Well done, Traveler and Paimon. And thank you, Dunyarzad, for organizing the Sub-Zero's festival for me.
I'm sorry, who are...
Dunyarzad!
Oh, Traveler Paimon. I have something amazing to tell you. I just had a dream, and I saw Nilou performing the dance of Sub-Zeros.
You're actually Nahida, aren't you? Paimon felt like Catherine was acting weird when we met at the Sub-Zero's festival. And Dunyarzad, did you save her?
It's a really long story. We shouldn't disturb her. Her consciousness is still weakened. Let's chat somewhere else. How about by the Traveler's favorite bench?
What's going on? Why are you two so excited to see me?
It's actually been much longer.
Oh? Strange.
Hello.
Let's talk about Dunyarzad first. It's such a relief that she's all right.
After we parted on the last day of the Sub-Zero's festival, I left the city and saw what the Traveler had described. Among the countless dreams, I found one that was growing fainter and fainter. This proved my suspicion. Once Dunyarzad could no longer bear the Akasha harvesting her dreams, her consciousness began to dissipate. But this also meant it escaped the Akasha's control. Such a small fragment of consciousness can't last for very long, though. It will return to its original dream, where both will gradually fade until they completely disappear. I used all the power I had to keep her dying dream alive as long as possible. But it still wouldn't have lasted for much longer if it hadn't been for you two breaking the samsara.
So it looks like we did manage to save Dunyarzad in the end. Not a moment too soon.
Huh? Why are you two smiling so happily? I thought you'd be so moved that you'd start crying.
Both are fine. Everyone reacts differently.
All right. You two must have a lot of other questions for me, right? After all,
At the Avidia Forest, there was this incense that made the traveler fall unconscious.
you also heard someone's voice, right? It said world and forget me.
Yeah, so you do know. We've been wanting to ask you what...
It seems like the traveler established a connection to Irminsul. That was a message left by Greater Lord Ruka. As you two probably know, Greater Lord Rukkhadevata disappeared after the disaster in Conria. The timings of these events do line up, so your suspicions are
A
reasonable.
message from Greater Lord Rukkhadevata? We thought it was from...
King Deshret? That god who died even longer ago? Some present-day desert dwellers still worship him. You probably just heard some of...
Okay, so what does the message mean?
I still haven't managed to decipher it. Even the Akasha Greater Lord Rukkhadevata's residual consciousness in Irminsul seems to be contaminated with something that has a very dangerous aura to it. Many devoted scholars go mad as soon as they connect their consciousness. I've warned the Academia about this many times, but I believe this is the key to saving Irminsul. That's why I've kept trying to decipher it.
So the tree in the vision was Irminsul? Oh, Tainari also said that Irminsul is sick! But even if you can't figure out what that vision was all about, it seems like our search for you was all in vain.
The traveler wasn't affected after coming in contact with that consciousness. I've never seen anyone like that. With you here, we may have a chance at deciphering it. No, we must decipher its secrets. I've already eliminated all other factors that might affect Irminsul. This is the only one left. This puzzle has life and death at stake. It could determine Irminsul's fate, as well as... To be accurate, I'm using the Akasha as a medium to occupy Catherine's consciousness.
How did you do that? Poor Catherine.
Theoretically, I can enter anyone's mind as long as they're wearing their Akasha terminal. The Akasha is the legacy of Greater Lord Rukkhadevata. As Lesser Lord Kusanali and the first Akasha terminal, my consciousness has always been linked to the Akasha. I've always respected my people's free will, so I've never actually occupied their consciousness. When necessary, I just borrow this bionic Snezhnayan puppet.
Hold on. Did we just learn some deep, dark secret? So Catherine is... No wonder Paimon felt something was off about her. What about your own body? Why do you need to borrow other people's? Don't you live in the sanctuary of Surasthana?
That story begins a long time ago. After Greater Lord Rukkhadevata disappeared, the sages found my newly born self and took me back to Sumeru. At that time, I was young and weak. The sages kept me in the sanctuary of Surasthana, ostensibly for the sake of protecting me. But I've hardly heard from them since. However, I do understand that they had hoped to find Greater Lord Rukkhadevata instead of me, a symbol of her passing.
So, the sages basically put their new Archon under house arrest? How dare they! Why don't you teach them a lesson, Nahida?
In some ways, they aren't wrong. Greater Lord Rukkhadevata was omniscient and omnipotent. Even after her death, the Akasha is still empowering this nation, and I'm still really far away from being able to call myself the God of Wisdom. Moreover, the Academia is also more proficient at governing this country. My existence...
Yeah, you got a lot of believers. Just look at the Sub-Zero's festival.
Thank you for the kind words. But I honestly don't need physical. Trying to find a way to save Irminsul is my life's mission and top priority. I will work on that. And every once in a while, I will also take up the duties of the God of Wisdom and enlighten a lost soul here and there. There has never been any big problems with the Academia's governance of Sumeru. This is the first time I've seen... I wonder what caused them to go down this path. And what, even though the city's residents haven't noticed anything strange, if the traveler hadn't broken the Sub-Zero samsara, I tried to do some investigating in the Akasha, but I couldn't find anything suspicious. And all the people of interest seem to I think they're deliberately trying to hide something.
Oh, that reminds Paimon. In Gandharvaville, there was a sage who had invited Kainari to join some kind of...
Regardless, I need to first investigate the sage's motives, make things right, and punish them if needed. But I'll have to be discreet. You mean how the Akasha stops you?
Yeah, it's been such a long time. No one's noticed something's up?
It's not that no one noticed. It's more like no one cared.
Misdirection?
The sages convinced everyone to believe that being unable to dream is a sign of rationality and wisdom. Even if the truth is that their dreams are being reaped by the Akasha. With their propaganda in place, the sages can maximize their use of the Akasha to facilitate their research. Besides, Greater Lord Rukkhadevata must have created the Akasha in the hopes that it could be used to its full potential. Anyway, the perspective advocated by the sages drowned out any voices of doubt. By now, even those who never use Akasha terminals find it too shameful and embarrassing to talk about their dreams.
Got it. I hope my answers were satisfactory, seekers of knowledge.
To be honest, maintaining Dunyarzad's fading dream took a lot of mental energy.
Oh, and you don't need to worry too much about the sage's activities for now. The Akasha will go and get some sleep. Leave everything to us.
What a relief.
Traveler? Paimon? Why am I here? Do either of you know?
Maybe you were sleepwalking. You know you can't wake up a sleepwalker. We happen to...
I see. Huh. I should visit my maintenance.
We spent quite some time in Sumeru City, but ever since we last said goodbye to Lesser Lord Kusanali, we haven't heard anything from her.
What's wrong? और सब करते रहते हैं भाई पहले का मिशन कंप्लीट करते हैं मेरे को नहीं लग रहा कौन क्वेस्ट बंद होगा तभी और तो नहीं हो मेरा साथ दो सारे गम भुला दो Teyvat आई उतना ऊपर वो भी वहीं से ही चाहिए कंप्रेसर कोई दिया भी नहीं है। Statue of the family hero। हीरो का पहले दे दिया है। फिर टॉल ऑफ होने हैं, अब आएगा ना मजा।
One taste of my hammer. Another test subject. Wind blade. Jab and cross. With the wind.
Over here. Let the magic begin.
The wrong test subject.
I'll live. Didn't quite touch it. Out of the frying pan, into the fire.
Go. Opening box of Adeptitrix.
Done.
Step on up.
That tingle? I got carried.
Wheel of Life.
Picked the wrong test subject.
Hi.
Hey यार, सब सुनाए
A reward on the road.
यार, फिर ये पानी में डुबा दिया है। तो कैसे मारूं भाई?
Over here. Be amazed. Nice and spicy. Chip on up. At the frying pan, into the fire. Over here.
Wind blade!
Nice and spicy. Boba, get them.
अरे यार अरे मेरे भैया
Life goes on. Rise.
कहाँ ले जा रहा है भाई?
Zip on up. Over here. At the frying pan, into the fire.
Life goes on.
Nice and spicy. Zip on up.
Disappear!
Over here. Let the magic begin. Eat this.
Rise. Sacred name, fortune preserver.
At the frying pan, into the fire.
blade!
ऐसे भी रुकेगा नहीं क्या यार यार तक बात क्या ट्रेन की बात कर रहे हैं। बोलते बहुत है यार ये।
And Astra Avisosk. We meet again, you two.
Hi, Catherine. Do you have any
Commissions, huh? Oh, how about this? Please attend the...
wait.
And if possible, please also use your camera to capture the reaction of the audience.
Huh? What kind of commission is that?
I see. It appears... In that case, please go to Port Ormos and convince the Eremites there to spend...
Hey, that's not any better.
Mm-hmm. I'm sure the mercenaries...
Paimon's gotta ask. Just who exact...
Oh, the commissioner? Well, actually, I just wanted to see the...
Was it so obvious? I was hoping you would actually take one of those commissions. That kind of chance to observe humans doesn't come by often.
कौन है भाई क्यों अपनी
Nashida. Paimon just knew Catherine wouldn't crack those kinds of jokes. When did you get into her head? So it's been you this whole time? Are you done resting up, Nahida?
Yes. I've been sleeping ever since we parted ways. And I even had a really long dream. It was another dream about the Sub-Zero's festival. In my dream, I was sitting in the middle of a flower terrace, and everyone is mirrored. I also got to sit on a...
You know, Nahida, maybe your dream is how the Sub-Zero festival really should be. It's meant to be a joyous time where everyone gets together to celebrate your birthday.
Huh?
No. By the way, have you...
Yes, I paid her a bit. Her condition is, but for the moment...
Right.
So are for...
Oh!
ट्रेन appearance disruptions like that was for more details.
Let's continue our chat here.
Okay, so do you have any ideas on how we could...
Actually, I've already done a little bit of work on that, but... We're in the dark as of now. Since we still don't know anything about their goals, any rash... After all, every person... I've already tried that, but all the key members of the Academy... It seems that from the very beginning, they've been guarding against info leaks from the Akasha.
Have you already caught this?
I'm guessing... In any case... No way, that's too...
You mean it'd be too easy?
No, it's not that. We shouldn't involve doing that would be ignoring the safety of my people.
That's a good point. Spoken like the god... Nahida, you're super smart, so you already have something in mind.
According to a popular theory from the Bahumana Darshan of the Academia, rejecting impractical motions at the beginning of a plan...
Okay, but aren't you the god of wisdom?
Well, I've been thinking that if I can't directly possess, then I should find someone...
You're saying we should... Oh, before coming back, we met someone named Al-Haytham. He seems like he acts alone, and he looks...
Actually, I already have someone in mind. Do you still remember...
Sitaria. Paimon remembers now. We ran into her basically every time the Sub-Zero's festival repeated it. Paimon still remembers the smug and mean...
She was born in the desert, and was hailed as their greatest...
Oh, Paimon didn't know she was from the desert.
The name Sitaria means star. When she looked later on, soon after, the star began, but in the end, she couldn't give up the radiance of daytime. To cope with her shame, the star buried her guilt and closed her eyes.
From the sound of it, Sataria's just out, but she doesn't really support the academia.
Indeed. When they are presented with complex she's suppressing a lot of guilt. But before she realized it, she had already become right. We must somehow make her face that way. Not only can we get useful intel from her, from my past observations, Sataria will take a day off from tomorrow afternoon, just happens to be to prepare. Let's go check out some of her favorites. This should be Sataria's favorite fortune-telling spot.
So should we ask?
No, I already have enough information on Sataria.
The packing style and...
My poor lost lambs. Have you become troubled over your fate? The divine voice of wisdom often echoed.
Huh? Really?
Shh. My friend here has some doubts regarding his future. Can we get a fortune?
Of course. It would seem that Harut and Marut are quite wary of you. Perhaps...
Only mocking the god of Animo, questioning the lord of Geo's financial savviness, and brawling with the god of Electro.
Oh, nothing. Go on, pick an aspect for her to divine.
Love prospects? The gods have spoke. One who is fated to cross your path will appear on... Huh? So many people will fall for you. How could that be? Harut, Marut, did you two spoil my divination?
Actually, Paimon thinks this is probably the most...
I admit that the orientation...
Is that so? Well,
if you were to bring some food offerings for Harut and Marut on your next visit...
Is this another one of Sataria?
Yep. It belongs to a king. His father helped Sataria a lot when they start talking with him. Listen
Ah, dear customers. Would you like to look at some...
We caught wind of your great craftsmanship, so...
Oh, I recognize you. Aren't you Miss Catherine from the Adventurers Guild?
Speaking of...
I suppose you could say it all started with my dad. After that,
That's nice.
Oh, no.
I see. I'll have someone in...
No problem.
अरे लकीनो आ गई क्या?
Everything's ready. Everything's ready.
को अपग्रेड करना पड़ेगा क्या?
This should be our final stop. Setaria's always thinking of this restaurant when she's working at the
Nahida, you've really thought of everything.
It's my duty to protect Samari's.
Hi there. I feel like I've seen you down by the docks before.
Huh? Sorry. If I recall... after all, but...
What an ad... So this
That's right.
I see.
So, was that everybody?
3 familiar faces should be.
What's the point of all the information we've...
Setaria's already used to avoiding her I remember you mentioned that the Eremites, although it's all just a boatload of nonsense, the fate...
Oh, Paimon! Although she knew she should return home to help the people of the desert, all she...
Well, King Dashret is long gone. And Setaria is also too... If we simply... But...
So,
Yep. As long as...
so...
Exactly.
Huh?
That's no problem. Although I've been observing humans for a while, I've never been good at imitating them.
You're not wrong. It's always been painful.
If it would...
Yeah, don't be...
Alright.
Return to the following. मेरा लव वेट करेगा। ये 12 है क्या है? कब तक वेट करना है? 12 बजे तक ना। हाँ बार बार वही करवा रही है यार।
Oh, here she comes. Satari is here.
Let's quietly follow her. As for how we'll sway her to our side, I'll leave that to you. I trust...
Paimon's starting to... Looks like they've already started talking. Let's find...
Hello.
That's right. You really can't force anything when it comes to love. And besides, everyone around me has a very different background and outlook. Are you still listening to me, Nabia?
Oh, of course I'm listening. You were talking about troubles with your love life, right?
Okay then. Strange. Your cats seem pretty worked up. I always thought they were quiet, happy kitties. Oh, what are their names again? Ah, that's right. They are just little darlings, aren't they?
So, which fortune?
I'd like to get another reading on my love prospects, but to be perfectly honest with you, I feel like I've been a real mess recently.
A mess?
Well, could you do...
I hear you. No problem. The gods are asking, Setaria, why haven't you gone home?
Why haven't I gone... home?
Setaria, why don't you just go home? It's a demand now instead of a question.
I'm sorry. I know I failed the god. And, if I may ask, Nabia, Is there a specific god who's speaking to you right now?
What an inconsiderate and naive question. The god who is speaking to me is, of course, the wisest and mightiest of all, King Deshret.
King Deshret? No wonder he would make such demand of me. Even though news of King Deshret's resurrection has been spreading like wildfire, it's all just a misinformation campaign from the academia. How can King Deshret still exist in real life?
What insolence! I am King Deshret's most loyal believer. Do you wish to
Oh, no. As a child of the desert, I am only reveling in his... I will think very carefully about his demand of me. I'm sorry. I must go now.
Wait!
Whoa! She just ran off in a hurry.
Well done. Sitaria didn't seem to suspect anything amiss. To have something she's been trying desperately to avoid show up out of nowhere and berate her, that must have shaken her to the core.
Aw, Nahida, it seems like
all I know are some abstract Harabatot theories. And in any case, my time with you is anyway, enough.
She's out of camp now, right on cue. Let's get ready to possess him right away.
It's okay. I just got caught up in something. Oh, actually, didn't you ask me to help you look for work? What kind? Gardening? But don't you hate everything to do with plants? I still remember
You see...
Fair enough. Speaking of, how's he doing? Is he feeling any better? Huh? Wasn't he nursing a leg injury? If I recall...
he...
Actually, well...
Yeah, he's been...
If you could find the... He has a quick...
Oh? I'm so jealous of you. You were born a child of the desert, yet you chose to betray King Deshret.
Akeem, you don't mean...
What's so strange about becoming a believer of the wise King Deshret? In fact, aren't you the
Can't pick a side? Me?
Whoa, Paimon had no idea you'd be so good at this.
You really zeroed in on the issue and put it right in front of... But once everything...
Come on, Sitaria...
So, Shishan, like, as if someone was trying to preach to you about something?
Oh, right. I celebrated the Sub-Zerus festival.
Wait, how could you be aware of that? That should be
Are you still failing to realize that the Academia's lowly tricks could never
Shishan, don't tell me that you've converted to King...
What an absurd question. You make it sound like I should be. In reality, shouldn't you be the one who is ashamed? You, who work side by side.
Please stop!
Even now, Sitaria's still trying to run from her...
She can no longer justify everything to herself.
Hey, she's trying to talk to the guards, which...
This is the most important part of all.
Quick, mercenary, you're a member of the Corps of 30, correct? Please help me pass a message to the Watcher right away. The situation is...
Please, try to remain calm, miss. Tell me what's happening.
Heretics are infiltrating the city, and they've already converted many residents to their side.
Heretics? What kind of heresy are you talking?
King Deshret! Many people I know have suddenly started believing in him, but he's along...
Miss Sitaria, nothing...
You're...
King Deshret is immortal, and all who defy... You must face the truth, Sitaria. You tread a treacherous path, and the longer you ignore... Child of King Deshret. Never forget that the desert that belongs to you lies elsewhere.
What's so strange about becoming a believer of the wise King Deshret? In fact, aren't you the strange one? The one who still can't pick a side?
What an absurd question. You make it sound like I should be ashamed for becoming a believer of King Deshret.
Sataria, why haven't you gone home?
It seems that no matter where I run, I only keep finding more believers of King Deshret. I have to say, I've also been running from my guilt this whole time. Guilt over my part in the sages, but no matter how much I may try to ignore or get rid of it, my guilt always comes.
You won't necessarily lose your research opportunities by facing the truth.
How do you know me so well? Are you truly just a believer of King Deshret? Or are you...
That's not important. The important thing is to pass judgment on the academia and its sages, and to correct their mistakes. If you could provide some assistance in this matter, perhaps it could serve as a form of atonement.
I've actually never believed in the gods, but I've always believed in serendipity. Your appearance must be a fated opportunity for me to get up. Please tell me, what can I do?
How much do you know about the sages?
I was just one of the designers for the massed dream harvest scheme, which is what happened around the Sub-Zerus festival, but I know very little about the full scope of the overall project. I'd assume that I've just been working to meet the Grand Sage. However, there's something that's been really bothering me. I heard that a scholar who was previously expelled has returned to the city.
To fight against the academia, we will need to figure out the nature and the purpose of their work. Is there a way for us to get access to the confidential
It should be possible if we're willing to take some risks. After all, I'm an assistant to the Grand Sage, and I've been working on many tasks outside of the... One thing, though, I won't be able to transfer the documents to you through the Akasha once I get my hands on them. The sages have always closely let me see... let's use the most primitive method.
The academia entrance. Wouldn't that be too
Don't worry about that. I assure you, I'm only suggesting this location because it'll draw more scrutiny for me to leave the academia again. It'll be safest for me to distract the guards long enough to hand you the documents.
All right.
So, if I were to succeed...
that'll depend on the judgment of the Dendro...
The Dendro Archon. That's right. Her people are the ones we have endangered. As the god of wisdom, she's also the one... Maybe it's time for me to find a god to believe.
Just as Nahida predicted, we've managed to bring the Traveler's execution was ingenious. He's the one... Well, now that we've made plans to meet again tomorrow evening, all we can do is pray for Satar...
Hey, but if we're going to pray to the gods, aren't we just praying to you? God of wisdom and guardian of the...
No. The truth is the true guardian of scholars. I've always believed that. Anyway, let's...
Catherine, we're here! Oh, you are the other...
That's right. I suppose I'm the other Catherine in your mind.
Shh! We're on a secret mission tonight, so we need to protect Catherine's...
Yep, Paimon's right. We cannot fully rule out the chance that the meetup tonight is just a if something were to happen, my existence may be the only trump card after all. The Academia should still be unable to...
Yep, exactly. Just what Paimon was thinking. Anyway, enough about that. Let's just off? What do you feel is off? It's the middle of the night. Of course it's quiet.
No, I think he's right. It really is. If you look around, there seems to be fewer people on the streets. I'm not sure if this is the case for the entire city, though.
Huh. Maybe it's just a coincidence. Maybe Sataria figured out a way to...
I also can't quite figure...
Well, regardless... There really aren't many people out right now. Let's hope it'll be this quiet in front of the Academia, and that Sataria managed to distract all the guards. Zip on up! People doing here at this hour of the night?
Ah, the triumphant hero returns at last. And to a rather spectacular welcome, even if I do say so myself.
You're the outcast, expelled from the Academia.
Indeed I am. Although these days they tend to call me the Doctor. If you're looking for your researcher friend, she has already been taken into confinement. With some basic caution, she could have discovered the listening device on her person. Clearly, she lacks the degree of rigor expected of a true scholar.
The people of Sumeru City. What have you done to them?
I simply made some minor adjustments to their Akasha terminals. Now they can deposit information directly into the subconscious. As you can see, all these lovely people now believe this traveler is a hero who has just saved the world. My experiment is a success. And now it seems they can no longer hold back their sheer adoration.
No, what should we do? These are all just regular people.
Leave now. You need to get out of here.
But that guy's a Fatui Harbinger. We can't just leave you here.
Nor can I abandon the people of Sumeru. Don't worry. We'll meet again outside of the city.
I see. You appear to have overridden their mental faculties with your own consciousness. To possess such a powerful mind, you must be the god of wisdom.
This should be far enough. Is the heater going to be okay? We only made it out because of her. Paimon wasn't counting on running into a new Harbinger here, let alone such a high-ranking one. That guy was number 2. So scary. He called himself the Doctor. Remember Remember, Tainari told us about him. Sataria did say that someone who once got expelled from the academia came back recently, and that even the sages are wary of him. Yep. Sounds like she must have been talking about the doctor. Yeah. Now that the doctor's in the picture, we're no longer... But what are the Fatui after this time? Another nose? Yeah. Things would be a lot easier with Nahida. Nahida said we'll meet again outside of the city. But we can't just keep waiting around, right? You mean... Oh, right! Wasn't he invited by the sages to work on some project when we were staying with him? And even though he turned it down at the time, there's no time to lose. Let's go to Gandharva.
उधर जाते रहेंगे अपन क्या खतरनाक एडवाइस तक दे रहा है भाई
He's saying some strange things again. It's...
लगता है जब पूरा होगा ना कैरेक्टर इंक्लूड मार्गरेट तो है ही है अपने पास